Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, December 5th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with an update on William Regal. PW Insider reported yesterday that Regal is set to officially return to WWE after the new year and is currently finalizing his deal with the company. Regal is expected to largely work in a behind-the-scenes role similar to what he did in the later years of his last WWE tenure from 2014 through the beginning of 2022, during which he worked as a trainer and talent recruiter. Regal had been with AEW since March of 2022 after being terminated by WWE 2 months prior. He was written out of AEW storylines last week following his attack at the hands of AEW World Champion MJF. In AEW news, Full Gear looks to have done an estimated 137 to 140,000 pay-per-view buys according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The numbers for the November 19th event from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey would be up about 16% from AEW's previous pay-per-view show All Out and up over 24% from last June's Forbidden Door, although down a little more than 9% from Double or Nothing, typically AEW's biggest show of the year. Dustin Rhodes has announced that 2023 will be his final year in the ring. The 34-year veteran revealed the news at Great Lakes Championship Wrestling's Blizzard Brawl event at the Waukesha County Expo Center in Wisconsin last Saturday night. Rhodes previously announced in November that he only had about a year left on his contract with AEW, where he works as both a wrestler and a coach. His last match to date was his August 26th challenge of then ROH World Champion Claudio Castagnoli on Rampage. Rhodes began his wrestling career on September 13, 1988 in Florida Championship Wrestling, the Tampa-based independent group then run by Steve Keirn and Mike Graham, and later by Dustin's father, Dusty Rhodes. In Game Changer Wrestling news, the Sandman and Too Cold Scorpio reuniting for the first time in 24 years came up short in their attempt to win the GCW World Tag Team title Saturday night at GCW's Wasted Time event at Pop's Nightclub in Sauget, Illinois. Sandman and Scorpio lost the three-way encounter, which also included Mance Warner and Matthew Justice of the Second Gear crew, as well as GCW tag champs Ciclope and Miedo Extremo of Los Macizos, who won the match in 7 minutes and 19 seconds. The match marked the Sandman's GCW debut. He and Too Cold Scorpio held the ECW World Tag Team title together in 1995. In news from Japan, Jun Akiyama captured the DDT Extreme title from Joey Janela yesterday at DDT Do Grand Prix 2022, the final, in Tokyo's Korakuen Hall, ending Janela's reign at 112 days. The win marked the first title Akiyama has won in DDT since returning to the promotion in 2020. He previously held the DDT Ironman Heavy Metal Championship in 2014. On Monday, Stardom announced full cards for their last two major shows, which will be closing out the year. Stardom's year-end climax takes place on Christmas Eve at Korakuen Hall and will feature a series of heat-up matches that will lead into their Dream Queendom event on December 29th at Sumo Hall. The main event of Dream Queendom will be former UFC fighter and current World of Stardom champion Syuri making the 11th defense of that championship against Julia. New Japan's World Tag League continued Monday at the Karatsu Athletic Stadium in Saga and featured all matches in the heavyweight division. Winners today included Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano. Tetsuya Naito and Sonata also received 2 points as a result of a bye over Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. The current league standings see Aussie Open of Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher leading with 14 points. And some sad news to report. Ursula Hayden, best known as Babe the Farmer's Daughter during the late 1980s on the original Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, passed away recently at age 56 after a battle with cancer, according to a story broken yesterday by PW Insider. In addition to being an in-ring performer, the former model and actress also owned the rights to the original Glow since 2001 and worked on both the award-winning 2012 Glow documentary as well as the popular Glow Netflix series, which ran for 3 seasons from 2017 to 2019. Prior to becoming Babe, Hayden also wrestled for Glow as the Princess of Darkness and Donna Matrix. She was the third of Glow's Farmer's Daughters. The original Sally the Farmer's Daughter passed away in 2020. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.